I didn't click record. Now I'm recording. So, okay, closing to occur with Title Connect agency. So they've given us some information down here. Call Angela Keener for all offers. So this is telling us that if I was to write an offer and I saw here agent-to-agent remarks and I saw call Angela Keener for all offers, I would call Angela first and I would ask her, or I would text her, either one. I think calling right now means call or text. Hey Angela, I'm writing up an offer for my client on your listing at 5126 Bigelow Drive. Is there anything that that I need to know or I need to tell my clients? And there may or may not be something. That's why they've asked for you to call her for offers. Or there's an email address here and it's telling you that that's where you're going to be sending the offer. Usually your offer information in terms of what you should, where you should send it, what needs to be in the offer, anything like that should be down here in your agent-to-agent remarks. So let's say I've texted her or called her and said, hey, I'm shooting over an offer. Like, is there anything else I need to know before we do this? No, it's okay. Just email it to angelakeener22@yahoo.com. Awesome. Okay. So, but the reason I said that you wanted to print it to PDF and save it is because things have magically changed. What you're going off of is you're going off of what's on this MLS report when you're writing the offer. And if it says that the home warranties are included at $650 and you put that in the contract and then suddenly they say that that's not available and you're like, no, but I saw that on the report, and then you go back to the MLS and you look at the report and suddenly it's missing, you don't have any hard copies of what you were looking at originally. That can happen. So what I would do is I would print up here, current listing, full report, PDF, right here. It's saved over here. And that has entered into my downloads, I believe. There it is, right there. So you'll open your file up, downloads, because I just downloaded it. It's right here. This is my listing. Cool. All right, so now I have it saved on my computer. So now I'm going to go back to search results. I'm going to keep this open. I'm going to go back to my Dotloop. Now I'm going to create a loop for this offer, for this property. I'm going to add a loop, property address or MLS number. I highly recommend using the MLS number. Go back to the, so you want two tabs open. We can slide that over here. You want two tabs open. Dotloop, MLS. I'm going to find the MLS number. It's up here on the right hand corner. I'm going to copy, I'm going to highlight it, copy, right click, paste. And see how it just auto loaded down there? Has the listed by Kevin Hart. It says listed by Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart is the team owner. Angela Keener is the team associate, so she's not on the listing technically, so it's going to show up as Kevin Hart. So just double check that when you see that. There we go. So listed by Kevin Hart, it already has the price there that is listed at, not what you're offering, and there's your MLS number. So I would click that. Would you like to save time by importing the details from the Columbus board? Yes, you totally want to save time. So I would click import data. Perfect. Good. Select loop template. This is a buyer paperwork because we're submitting an offer. So I'm going to click buyer paperwork and I'm going to click continue. Don't bother uploading a picture. You can. What you could do is you could take this picture. You could save as, save it on your desktop, save as, here's your little picture, it's right there. You can come back to your Dotloop, you can upload that photo if you feel like you need to. Where did it go? There it is. Did I say so it's too small, it's not even gonna load. Okay, so we can't do it. But it's fun because then when you send stuff to your buyers, the picture of the home will be on the Dotloop paperwork that you send them. Anyway, we're gonna click next. Now we've created our loop. Now you can either click here to view, or you can click here and open it. Now we're in, and it's got all of our paperwork already preloaded for us. Now what we want to remember to do is we just want to remember to add that PDF that we saved of the MLS report. So you want to maybe up here in purchase contract. So these are different folders. These are called folders. This is a purchase contract folder, additional documents folder, pre-contract folder. So up here, I'm going to click add document. You can browse our template section. You can browse PDFs on your computer, or you can email stuff. I'm going to click this one because I'm going to upload from my downloads this listing. Click open, open, and now it's in there. So now when I open it, here's a copy of the MLS report. Perfect. Just rename it. MLS report. I made a little boo-boo. So I didn't print the agent report. I printed the customer report. Just a side note, when you're printing these for yourself, you want to print the private reports. You want to print the private report because that's going to show the agent information, like down here. This is what you really want. You really want the verification that is 3% to yourself. So this is the one that you want. I'm sorry, when you, there's two versions when you print. There's a public version and a private version. If you've gone through any of the MLS classes, you'll know that. For you, you want the private version printed and saved. You don't give that to your client ever. You give them the public version. So this is the version we want. Just wanted to clarify that. So that's what I would have put in here. But I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to change it. Our purchase is right here. So we're going to make sure that says purchase, select loop status. This is a pre-offer because we're writing up our offer. So next thing you're going to do is so look, Kevin Hart's already in here as a listing agent, but remember it said send paperwork to Angela. So we're going to want to add Angela. Not yet, but we are going to want to add our buyer. So my buyer's name is Kristen Hart, just because I can log into my email. Add person, Kristen Hart. Now it remembers me, but it's not going to remember your clients if you're putting them in for the first time. So it won't have something that'll generate like this. So you'll put their name and then you'll type the email. Okay, and then you need to give them a role. Anytime you see, the general rule of thumb, not always, but a general rule of thumb, when you see anything that is a red color like this, it means that it's mandatory in order for you to move forward. You have to fill it out. It won't let you move forward. So if I was just to click add person, it tells me the role is required. And this is a buyer, so I'm just going to select buyer. You don't have to fill all of this out. So that's why I said it's a general rule of thumb, because this is also red, but it's not required to move forward because I can just click add person. So Kristen is added. She's my buyer, and I'm all good. My listing agent's there. Kristen's the only buyer. Now I'm going to slide up. Now I can start filling out paperwork for her. Let's see. I need her to sign all these. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to do it kind of one folder at a time. I don't want to do everything all at once, but I'm going to do the pre-contract folder. She needs to look at all of this and sign it. And I can send that to her to sign while I'm writing the offer up, or hopefully she's already signed, like the Consumer Guide to Agency Relationships. That would have been like, you know, weeks ago when I started showing her houses. But the rest of the stuff you can send her. It just depends on your process. So we're going to click open. Autofill. Buyer 1, Kristen Hart. Buyer 2 is no one. And this is asking for the property address. It's already been preloaded because remember before when we put the MLS number in when we created the loop and we asked it to import the data has now been imported, and Dotloop will autofill most of this data for you. So we're going to click autofill. So wherever any of this paperwork needs Kristen's name or the address, it'll load itself so you're not typing it 1,000 times. So we're going to scroll down and look for where she's going to need to sign. So I'm going to go ahead and type in her name. I'm going to hover over assign field, click on Kristen. I'm going to assign this assigned to nobody. Good. You want to make sure that this is assigned to no one. This little box up here tells you who each signature box is assigned to. When you click on it, it'll tell you. Kristen, no one. So we're good. That says no one. Keep scrolling down. She needs to sign the anti-fraud advisory form. Click or hover over assign field, Kristen. Hover over assign field, no one. Scroll down. This is your recommendations to the buyer or sellers. These are all the things that you recommend. You want to read this on your own time. We're not going to go over paperwork exactly, but I'm just showing you how to do this stuff on Dotloop. So we want her to sign here. So assign field, Kristen, assign field. It's already assigned to no one, so good. Scroll down. You don't need to add the date necessarily because when she signs, it will auto stamp it with the date. So you can pretty much ignore that when it's next to a signature or an initial because it will auto stamp it with a date. We're going down. See, it's already loaded her name and the property address. We want Kristen to sign it. It already has her name. Click here. Assign, no one. This is the lead-based paint pamphlet. There are no initial or signature fields on this pamphlet at all. It's just an informational pamphlet to let them know about lead in a home and the potential hazards. We, by law, have to give this to every single client of ours that is in a home that has been built prior to 1978. As a good rule of thumb, you should just give it to everybody. Doesn't matter if their home was built in 2000. As a good rule of thumb, but I guess it's not necessary. So keep scrolling. There's nothing on this. It's pretty long. Okay, good. We're done. We can move back. All of that paperwork is ready to go for her to sign.
Hold on. I have a question. Can you hear me? This is the lead-based paint disclosure?
No.
That's not it. Okay. Okay.
This is the pamphlet.
Okay. Is the disclosure also in the MLS?
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Good question. Good question. Click save. Don't forget to hit that save button.
Okay.
Back out. These documents have not been shared. Would you like to share them? Yes, I would like to share them. Thank you. Yes. Here's your sharing window. This is where you can pick who you're sharing it with, how you're sharing it with them. You can leave little messages. Kristen does need to receive these, and you need to give her can sign privileges. So you'll see Kristen is the buyer. There's 4 fields assigned to her. And if you click this little drop-down menu, you can change what she can and can't do with these documents. You can give her view only, can sign. If you wanted her to fill something out, you can give her can fill and sign, or can edit in private. You most likely will never send clients anything with can edit in private. Can edit in private is used mostly between realtors. Okay, but I'm going to give her can sign. Here we can leave a little message. Hi, congrats. While I'm putting together the offer, please read this paperwork and sign. Let me know if you have any questions. Kristen. Attach PDF to email always. Checkbox that. And then I'll click share. Attach PDF to email means that at the bottom of the email, there will be a PDF attachment of all of the paperwork that I just sent Kristen, but she won't be able to sign it that way. She'll have to click on view documents in the email and then sign it that way. Okay, so it says these documents have been shared, waiting on others. Perfect. Click done. Okay, now we're back in our folder. So now we can start getting into the nitty-gritty. The additional documents here are what they are. They're additional. Not all of the paperwork in here is what you're going to use necessarily to write the offer. It's just there in case you might need it. So this is what we really need to work on next. So we do need to grab a couple of documents off of the MLS. So we need to go back to our MLS, go to documents. This is our listing that we're making an offer on. Go to documents. Here's our lead-based paint, the home warranty invoice, the residential disclosure, and probably just some information on utilities that they're being nice enough to share with us up front. So I'm going to click, 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 click. Actually, I'm going to click all of them. I'm going to show you. View or print checked documents. You need all of these. Okay, just going to look at them really quickly. Here's my lead-based paint disclosure that you were asking about. This is what your client needs to sign. I'll show you that in a second. Here's the home warranty invoice. Good. Here's the property disclosure. You just want to, this is the residential property disclosure form. You just want to kind of eyeball it really quickly, just make sure that the owner has signed it and that it looks like it's filled out. Looks like it's filled out. Okay, owner signed, okay. And then here's just some random utility information. Cool. Two most important things are the lead-based paint and the property disclosure. You need those with the offer, if applicable. I'm going to click that little print button up here. Bye! I want to save to PDF. So when you click print, it's going to, whatever destination is preset on your computer, that's what it's going to show. You can always change. That's what you have to change to a PDF. Save as PDF. I have it saved in landscape. I'm going to change it to portrait. All right. Just make sure it's all there. Okay. Click save. Save it to my desktop. I'm going to name it 5126 Bigelow Drive. 5126 Bigelow Drive. Okay, now I can X out, go back to Dotloop. Now I'm going to import those documents into my purchase contract because this is the paperwork that you need for the offer. Most of it. So we're going to add document. Again, we're going to click here because we're adding a PDF from our computer. So it's the middle one. Click. And I saved this on the desktop. So I'm going to go to my desktop. And I've given it a name of the address. Click that and open. Now it's all in there. So now I can click it and open it. Make sure it's all loaded properly. Okay, good, 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 good. Okay. Now, I'll show you a little tip. Let's say I want to separate this, right? I just downloaded several documents into one lump document, but let's say I need to split those up. And I only want the lead-based paint and the residential property disclosure together, and I want to separate that invoice, and I want to separate that utilities thing. So I'm going to click on this. You can only do this, by the way, with PDFs. I just opened it up. I'm going to come up here, File, Split Document. So now it asks me, split document into how many files? Split it into, let's say I'm just going to split them all into their own, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 separate things in here. So, file name number 1, lead-based paint. Page 1 to 1, because it's 1 page. Here's I'm going to just type home warranty invoice. This is 1 page, so I'm going to put page 2 to 2. Here's my RPD, residential property disclosure. This is page 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 to 7. And then utility. Page 8 to 8. Okay, I'm good. Split document. 4 documents created. Done. Okay, you can't see it yet, but when you back out, you'll see they've separated. Pretty cool, right? I love it. I love being organized like that. So let's fill out the residential property disclosure, agency disclosure. Let's fill out the ones that are Dotloop documents, which are these. This one, and this one. Check, check, check. And we're going to click open, because it'll open all of them at once, so you don't have to open one, fill it out, save, go back. Open one, fill it out, save, go back. Open one. So this is my autofill. It's asking me to autofill, for me. Okay, address. You don't really need any of this stuff, so just go down and click autofill. Now you'll see it's autofilled the address on top of all of the pages. Cool. So now I'm going to put the date. It's today. It already has the county and the parcel ID, and then it's as and further described as. So the way you find further described as, that would be on the tax, is it this one? This one. It's the legal description. I would put the legal description right there. Copy. Paste. So, State of Ohio, County of Franklin, tax parcel number, blah, 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 and further described as the legal description that you find when you click Realist Tax Info. The legal description, it's right there. You can also find it on the auditor site. And I would just double check that there is only one parcel attached. This is the parcel ID. Okay, sometimes there's 2, 3, 4. Just double check. Okay, we're good. Price shall be. Okay, what was it listed at? My buyer wants to offer $250. Okay. You could put a decimal point here. I'm not sure if I see that often, but because I'm in accounting, that's what I do. Additional terms and conditions. This is where I would write. So, you know, the list price was $249.9. Additional terms and conditions. What would I put here? Buyer. Oh, and then as you type, if you notice that these clauses pop up. So if you ever are looking for a clause, it could auto-populate. It doesn't seem that it's applicable because it says document, condominium document review clause. I don't need that. Counter offer verbiage. Thank you for your counter offer. We don't need that. Attorney review, flow test. I'm just kind of like browsing the clauses that are pre-written so that you don't have to come up with fancy verbiage every single time and feel like you just don't know what to do or write. That's a lot of the questions we get is like, well, my buyer wants to do this. How do I write that in the contract? Good question. Sometimes we don't know either. We're like, just write it the way you think it sounds. Just put it in layman's terms, and try to make it as specific as possible. So here's something, what was it? Oh, here it is. This backup offer. So this is if it's a backup offer. Buyer's cap on request remedy in the event the items. Oh, it went away because I moved my thing. Anyway, you get the point. You get the gist. Let's say you get stuck here and I'm like, ooh, I click save. Always click save before you exit the document and you back out. Do you want to share this? This asks you every time. Just click no. Let's say I want to look at some clauses first and see if what I'm looking for is anywhere. Go to templates. You can scroll down here. You can go to sample paperwork in files over here, sample paperwork. Let's see, removing remedy and appraisal language. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. When removing the remedy or putting into the contract buying as is. So a lot of buyers are using this as a strategy to get their offers accepted, is that they're waiving the right to ask for repairs after an inspection. So how do you write that? Well, there you go, it's right there. Buyer agrees to buy the property in as is condition, but shall have the right to inspect. So they're agreeing to buy the home in as is condition, but they still want to inspect it first. They're not giving that right up. The buyer will not request for remedies. However, the buyer shall still have the right to exercise paragraph 6.4b, which means that that this still allows your buyer to terminate the contract if something major comes up during the inspection. You do not want to leave that out. I'm not turning this into a contract class or any type of class other than just Dotloop writing class, but do not forget that. That is very important. You still want your buyers to be able to terminate the contract. So when you're removing remedy, come here. Unfortunately, it's not a copy and paste situation. I can't copy this and paste it, but you'd want to rewrite this and put it in that additional terms and conditions. So let's pretend I just did that, just for the sake of time. Now I'm going to go back to my loop. I just created it, so it should be somewhere here up on the top. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to check all of these because I want to do them all at once. Click open. It's already been auto-filled. And here I would write just what I just wrote, or just what I just saw for my removal of remedies. Okay. Attorney approval clause. I'm going to give 5 days. 5 to 7 days is standard here. Financing. But buyer will pay the purchase price in cash. She's not paying in cash, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to click assign to no one. I'm going to click assign to no one. I don't want her to sign there. She's not buying cash. This contract is contingent on a buyer obtaining financing. Great. She needs to initial this. Assign Kristen, and then I would assign to no one. Kristen, we have delivered the pre-qual or the pre-approval. We are not waiting on that, so you want her to sign here. Buyer has delivered lender's pre-qualification. So we're going to assign this to no one, and her KH is there, and I'm going to assign no one, assign no one. Loan application. I'm going to have her apply for the loan. If this is left blank, it defaults to 7 calendar days. Calendar days are including Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna leave that blank because it's gonna be 7, or you could put a 7 in there. 7 is standard. And she's making a formal application for and you have to put the type of loan that they're getting, and you have to make sure you know the type of loan that they're getting. Don't put something in there that's not true. Conventional, cool. There we go. Loan commitment. I'm going to have the loan commitment due in 30 days because we're looking at a 45-day closing. So loan commitment, probably, if you want to do anything earlier than that, like a 25-day loan commitment, just talk with the lender first maybe, but 25 to 30 is standard. You just don't want the loan commitment due after the closing date. So if you're doing a 30-day closing, maybe do a 25-day loan commitment or a 20-day loan commitment, but don't have the loan commitment due in 30 days, but also have the closing in 30 days. Continue. This usually is left none. Community development charge, this only happens in a very small, tiny little area of New Albany is where you need to fill this out. So if you're helping someone buy something in New Albany, call us and we'll walk you through 4.2. 4.3, seller warrants that no improvements or services have been installed or furnished. Basically, that your seller does not know of any assessments happening in the area, like new water line, like crazy new water lines being put in, and all this that would affect assessment, property taxes. Scroll down. Fixtures. Here's a list of everything that's going to be included with the house. When you walk through the house for the first time with your buyer, you want to write down what they need, what they see in the house that they really want to stay. So generally that we would assume that like the refrigerator will stay and the blinds, maybe nobody's gonna take the blinds, but the curtains is kind of like, some people take their curtains, some people leave the curtains, some buyers want the curtains, and then the seller accidentally takes the curtains because the curtains weren't written to be included. So I'm gonna write curtains in, you want to be really specific, in living room. If they don't care about the bedrooms, then no biggie. Curtains in living rooms they have to have. Curtains in living room, or curtains, window treatments, and playground in the backyard. Those kind of things can be a little like, do they stay, do they not? The following shall be excluded. We want to make sure pile of wood in backyard near the shed. So there's a huge pile of wood in the backyard that the buyer wants the seller to get rid of before they buy the house. The following leased items shall be excluded. Generally, nothing's leased on the home. Keep going. Specified inspection period. Buyer shall have 7 days is standard, 7 to 10. Buyer shall have 7, and you can actually highlight this and move it to the center by clicking here, so it's just a little bit more visible. 7 days for inspection. Down here, this is where this is the remedy. So the buyer and seller shall have blank calendar days, if not applicable, Not applicable if the number of calendar days is not inserted. So if you do not give a number here, you're basically telling the seller that your buyers are waiving the right to ask for repairs after the inspection. So if you want your buyer, if your buyer wants to be able to say, hey, this is what I found in the inspection report, and I want you to fix A, B, and C, you've got to give a number here. And I see generally 5. 5 is the number. Okay. But additional terms and conditions, on first page, I wrote that we've waived our remedy. So I'm going to leave that blank. And I'm going to show you what you have to do. There's additional paperwork now that has, that now will be part of the, just your paperwork, not an offer paperwork, but paperwork for the office. So we're waiving our right to remedy. Scroll down. Home warranty or protection plan, seller at a cost. So actually I'm going to click on, I'm going to save this, and now I'm going to back out because this is where the home warranty comes in, and I want to see what that price was. Would you like to share? No. Look at the home warranty invoice. It's invoice date, effective date to be determined. Home warranty advantage. So I'm going to go back to that listing report, and I'm going to see Advantage home and gas line warranties are currently in place, $650. Okay. So I'm going to go to my offer, and I'm going to Advantage home warranty, $650. Okay. Let me go back to my, I'm going to click, click, click. Reopen. That's them letting us know that they've included a home warranty with the listing, and that this is where I need to put that. So $650 Advantage home warranty. Usually this will be left empty. Scroll down. Keep scrolling. Earnest money deposit. We are not giving an earnest money deposit. So I'm going to put 0. And I'm going to make sure that she can't sign here. Assign to no one. No one. No one. No one. If there is an earnest money, you would write the amount there. And then if it's either going to be collected 3 days after acceptance of the contract or 3 days after the expiration of the agreement to remedy. There's 2 different times that you can initiate that earnest money to be collected. And so your client would initial whichever one you've decided, or nothing if your earnest money is 0. Go down. We'll talk about this later, but you don't need to fill this out right now because there's no earnest money. So this is left blank. Keep scrolling. So we're almost done. Not yet. Closing. This is where I have to put the closing date. So we're looking at 45 days. So September 30th. October 30th is 30 days. October 30th. And then this is about 45 days. 2 weeks into November. You could do it on a Friday the 13th. Perfect. I love it. Final verification of condition. This is your walkthrough. You want to put, well, if you don't put a number, if left blank, number of calendar days shall be 2. So it'll give you 2 regardless if you leave this empty. You could put 3 to give you an extra day, but you don't want to do a walkthrough too soon before closing. Traditionally, walkthrough is usually done before you go to the closing table. Usually. Possession. Seller is entitled to possession through. That's this you would put. If you're closing on Friday and the seller's not leaving until Saturday and you've worked that out, you would put November 14th, and you kind of want to be very specific at the time, because if you just put that day, it's just like left open, and that seller would probably thinks they have it until 9 o'clock at night because it's just that day. Do I have a? Well, I have a question. What's more common for earnest money before or after remedies? I think I see more after remedies. I think I see a lot more after remedies. I don't know. It's kind of 50-50, to be honest with you. I think if you're trying to make a stronger offer, you would want it due after the contract is executed, within 3 days of execution. But after remedies, I think is a little weaker because it's like, oh, okay, now we'll give you our earnest money now that we're past inspection. Honestly, it's 50-50, but I think a stronger offer is 3 days after,
Thank
in
you.
my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. Okay. So we're being specific. 12 o'clock is when they need to be out that Saturday. You also need to check when you do stuff like that with the lender just to make sure, because some loans, like an FHA loan, I believe, we're conventional, so it might be okay. But if it's an FHA loan, I don't think anyone else will be allowed in that house once it transfers title. So there would be no extension for seller possession. You just want to double check on some of these with the lender when you're writing an offer sometimes, as you're getting used to things. Duration of offer. This offer shall be open for acceptance through, so today is the 30th. It just got listed. Let's pretend it just got listed. You want to put a little pressure, but you want an answer fast. But you want to give them a little bit of time, because if it expires, then you have to do it all over again. You have to resend the whole thing with an extended duration of offer. So I would this is when you would talk to Angela, the listing agent, and just say like, hey, just figure out what's happening. Are they getting a lot of offers? Are they not even going to entertain offers and look at them until Friday? So in that case, I've talked to Angela. Angela says, my sellers, we've received like 10 offers. We're not even going to look at them until Friday. So maybe leave it open until Saturday morning. Okay. That's kind of normal right now. So I'm going to put Saturday morning is October 3rd. Again, specific at 10 a.m. Okay. Good. Kristen needs to sign this. It's assigned to her, assigned to no one. And then those are seller signatures. You don't need to put anything else. You don't need to put your buyer's information on here. You would fill out our brokerage information, your information, the other listing agent's brokerage's information, and the listing agent's information. And actually here, because you saw Angela was involved, you'd probably write Kevin and Angela. And actually, I don't have any more room, so the way you make more room is you click on that. It won't let me. Well, we can make the font smaller, change it so that it fits.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, click save. Let's pretend I filled all this out. I'm not going to do that right now, but I filled all this paperwork out. So that's done. The contract's done. We're good. Now we need to go here. Agency disclosure. Buyer, Kristen. Seller. Well, I don't know what the seller's names are. You can find it on that property detail report that we opened up. So again, here, that one turns into this. Owner name is RB. Well, that's great. That doesn't give us anything. Then I might go to the Franklin County Auditor site and just see if there's anything more than RB. Franklin County Auditor. I just Google Franklin County Auditor and I'm just going to click something. A lot of this is just, you're just kind of figuring it out. Search, I want to search, let's do parcel ID because that's pretty, or search by owner. Oh, search by parcel ID. Okay, that's usually a better way of finding, because addresses are weird. Okay, so it's giving me RB. I'm gonna click on this. This, I don't even know what this is. This is other stuff that they own. Okay, well, RB owns it. All right, so I'm just gonna put RB. Buyer will be represented by, you know, okay. You would be filling this out if it was 2 agents in the same brokerage. So in this case, it looks like it is, but let's pretend it's not. This is if you're, if it's only you and there is no other agent, you're either a dual agent or you're only representing one or the other. And that that's a whole nother class about how to fill out, but I'm just doing Dotloop stuff. Assigned to Kristen. Assigned to no one. Okay. Okay, no initials down there. Performing, property located at, it didn't write the address. Didn't fill it for me. Bigelow Drive, I think. Hilliard, Ohio 43026. This is what your buyer would actually fill out. This is that they're, so we hereby authorize KW Premier and its sales associates to follow all of your lawful instructions and to further order and perform on our behalf the following: provide seller proof of funds. So they want you to do that. Usually all of these are going to be checked. And then you might want to just check all of them for them and then send it to them to sign. So assigned to Kristen, assigned to no one. Now I'm going to save. I'm not going to share it yet. Would you like to share? No, not yet. Not yet. So now these are filled out because now they're grayed. So these 3, or actually these 2, are what I need to send the offer, plus this and plus this. So I'm a little weird. I want them all to be next to each other. So see how when I hover over here and it gives me 4 arrows, I can click on that and I can drag it. See how I just moved it, moved it, moved it, moved it. And this comes next. So actually the agency disclosure statement should be first, then the property disclosure, then your residential property disclosure, lead-based paint, and the home warranty invoice. And that's what you need for your offer. So I still need to tag, I need to give her a place to initial. So now I have to add initials. Add initial, click and drop, assign Kristen. Scroll down. She has to initial all of these. Add initial, click and drop, assign Kristen. So now I just need a big signature. Okay, I'm done with that. Save. Good. It's saved. Back out. I do not want to share it yet because I'm going to share them all at the same time. Now I just need to do the same with the lead-based paint. Seller has no knowledge. They've checked there. Seller has no reports. They've checked there. Purchaser has received copies of all of the listed information above, and purchaser has received the pamphlet, so that's that lead-based pamphlet I showed you that you should send. They've received it and they've reviewed it. So add initial. You can just click right there, right in the middle. Assign Kristen. Now this says here, Kristen has received a 10-day opportunity to conduct a risk assessment on lead-based paint, or Kristen has waived the opportunity. So it's either accepted or waived. So Kristen has waived. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click add checkbox. Click that. Now I'm going to drag it right here and I'm going to check it. And now I need to, so this one's weird. It's seller, purchaser, purchaser, agent, agent. So add signature, just put it there on purchaser, assign to Kristen, add signature, and then you need to sign this one actually. And you can actually just click sign now, adopt and sign. And once you've signed it, you can actually move it around a little bit. See how it didn't really fit? Okay, now we're done. Save. Back up. Would you like to share now? Because I want to share them all at the same time. Okay, so now I need to send 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we forgot about the home warranty invoice. So you don't have an initial field on here, so you just want to add an initial here for your client, just to show them that your client has seen it and they're good with it. Save. Back up. Would you like to share now? Now they're ready to go. All of this is ready now to go to your client to sign. Check, 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 because this is what you're sending as an offer. They've hopefully already signed this stuff. This is the offer paperwork. Now we're going to share. And now we're going to, we're sending it to Kristen. Can sign. This is the, please review the offer paperwork. Double check the dates and terms in the contract, because that makes them double check so that you know that they're reading what you're sending them. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever you want to write. Attach PDF, share. Good. Click done. Good. So you can uncheck these. Now, because we waived the right to remedy, you have one last piece of paperwork to do here. Hold harmless. Autofill. You have to get your buyer to sign a hold harmless agreement or a hold harmless disclosure holding you harmless and the office if they buy this house with no request to remedy, and two months later something catastrophic comes up and now they want to come after you for some reason. And you can say, well, you waived your right to request repairs and you signed a hold harmless agreement. So it's just an extra layer of protection. So you put your name here. Seller is RB, buyer is, our agent was Elisa. You can tab through these, by the way. That's me tabbing. Tab, tab. This one. Proceed with purchase contract without buyers having the right to request remedies with regard to the condition of the property. Buyer, assign Kristen. You don't need the seller to sign this because the seller doesn't care. The seller is glad. It's your client that needs to sign this. So I don't know when the seller would sign this, to be honest with you. I don't know why there's a seller portion there. No one. Save. And now I'm going to share this with her as well. Let her know in a whole nother email, this is your hold harmless. This means you can't come after us, and you know you've waived your right to request for remedies. So you know, blah, 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 blah. Attach PDF, can share. Awesome. All right. So buyer consent and disclosure, I would have sent that to her to sign as well. Anything with the asterisk on it, these asterisks are mandatory. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to sign out of this. I'm almost done. Bear with me. I feel like I'm racing through this because I like to talk so much sometimes. So we're in Kristen's personal email, the buyer, and she's received, pretend this says Elisa. If it was you sending the email, it would say Elisa here, Elisa Wolf via Dotloop. Please review 5 documents for Bigelow Hilliard. Congrats. While I'm putting the offer together, please read this paperwork and sign and let me know if you have any questions, Kristen. Okay, view documents. Got to remind them to click the start signing button because then they don't know, but remind them to read also because it like flies through the documents. It doesn't even let them read it, which is so strange. Click. Adopt. See? It like flies through the documents. Click. Okay, cool. Finish signing. And then here's that lead-based paint pamphlet. Finish signing. Just ignore that. Tell them to ignore the sign up and then back out. They can exit out. Good. Here's the other one. Why did I not get the start signing? Click, adopt, finish. Start signing and finish signing are very common for them to miss, and then they think they've actually finished and they didn't click finish, and sometimes you have to send stuff back to them again, and because they didn't quite understand what was happening. What happened here? Where did that one go with the purchase contract in it? Oh, it was under there. Okay, so I sent those 2 emails and see how in my email it nested them together. I didn't necessarily see the offer paperwork. So that's just it's good to send these things to yourself and play because then you'll see things like this and you'll know what your clients are saying. Sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, they don't know how to use technology, but actually it's like I didn't see that. They were nested together. View all documents. So here's the contract paperwork. I'm going to fly through this really quickly, but hopefully they're signing it. So agency disclosure statement first and foremost. How they're set up in Dotloop in a row is how they're going to display first. Whatever's at the top is displaying as the first document. And usually your agency disclosure statement needs to be presented first before anything else, because that's your disclosure statement of who's party to the contract. Start signing. Click. Great. It flies through this. Look at this. I'm already on page 2, and it just flew. Click. So notice how when I was unassigning, I was assigning to no one. I was doing that for a reason, because if I left it alone and I wasn't assigning to no one, she would probably end up with a little box here as well and accidentally clicking that, and then you've got like double buyer initials. So I literally, if they don't have to sign it, I unassign it and I assign to no one, so that Dotloop sometimes makes them assign, I don't know. See how, yeah. Click, click, click. Cool. Finish. Okay. Back out. Okay. Let's sign out of that. And sign back into my account really quickly. You will receive an email that they've signed all of their documents as soon as they sign. So that's helpful so that you know. So when you're just kind of waiting around, you'll get emails that they've signed, and then you can jump in your email and shoot it off to the listing agent. So here's so it says signed. It's all signed. So we are good. Disclosure statement, purchase agreement, purchase contract, residential property disclosure, lead-based paint if applicable, home warranty invoice if applicable, all has to be together for the offer. And that's it. So, oh, and the consumer guide, sorry, they signed that earlier. That has to be part of the offer paperwork as well. You can also drag that up and maybe put that right there in between. Because now what I'm going to do, I'm ready to send this to the listing agent. Check, 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 and check. Share. Kevin, he's my listing agent. Well, that's not who they told me to send it to. Oops, I need to send it to Angela. I can add her right here. Angela Keener. It gave me the email address to send it to. I'm gonna copy. Paste. I'm gonna tag her as a listing agent as well. And I'm gonna give her Can Edit in private. Like I said, anytime you're sharing paperwork through Dotloop to another agent, you want to give them Can Edit in private. That's the norm. You know, hi Angela. Please see attached offer for your listing on 5126 Bigelow Drive. My clients are, well, it was such a pleasure chatting with you on the phone. Let's get this deal done. Looking forward to hopefully working with you. Please confirm receipt. Always add that at the end of every email. You want them to confirm that they've received it. You want them to confirm that they've received it. You want them to confirm that they've received it. Attach email. Attach PDF to email. Thank you so much for Lisa Wolf. And then I would share. I'm not going to though, because this would actually go to Angela, and this is not a real offer. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to X out of here. And that's that. Then she would receive an email with all that in there, and then I'll show you what attached PDF. This is what it looks like when you click attach PDF to the bottom. These PDFs will be there. And she'll receive it, and then she'll send you an email back and say she got it. At that point, I would also text that agent, Angela, and let her know. I submitted an offer for 5126 Bigelow. Let me know when you get it. Like, I would just like blow them up. Like, let me know when you get it. You want to know that they've gotten it. That's it. That is writing an offer in Dotloop. Of course, there's like so many little more nuances to this. But that's the gist. So here's your America's Preferred Home Warranty information. If you were to use America's Preferred Home Warranty, let's say that your client doesn't want Advantage Home Warranty, and that's what they're offering with that listing, you can always negotiate America's Preferred Home Warranty instead. That's not going to say that's what your client's going to end up with. But if you were to try to stick America's Preferred Home Warranty in there instead, you would need to give your client this booklet. You need to let them see this. And you would need to fill this out. And that is in fillable form right here, the agreement. So you can fill this out, autofill. And of course you would, and she's going to be here October 6th, so that's next Tuesday at 10:30. She's going to be here to go over this stuff with you guys. If you're, that way it can clear up all that home warranties, all the home warranty questions. I can't believe I did that in an hour and 10 minutes. And as you get better with it, like writing an offer can take an hour or so. But when you get good at it, it'll be fast. Any questions? I see some questions here. Okay. Have you had clients who've refused to sign the hold harmless? No. If they refuse to sign the hold harmless, you need to call Tom. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody refusing to sign it though. But if they refuse, call Tom right away. In regards to the hold harmless clause, I've waived remedy period before with my last brokerage. Buyers did not sign a hold harmless clause. Would they be able to come back at me in the future even though written in purchase contract? Thank you. Buyers can come back for anything. So, right, the hold harmless clause is not a standard form. We luckily have an incredibly intelligent and Tom, our broker, is on it, is on the ball. He knows how to keep us out of trouble. So yeah, the hold harmless clause is not standard. It's something that we use in this office. And buyers did not sign. Would they be able to come back at me in the future, even though written in the purchase contract? Possibly. They probably won't. Possibly, yeah. Any other questions? It's a good question. And you want to be really careful when you remove the request to remedy. You want to, I'll show you in the contract. Because not every house really needs remedy period. I mean, if it's something that was built 2 years ago, I mean, don't take my word for it. Don't take my advice. Inspections. So here's the remedy period. So where that paperwork was, that clause that said, if you remove the remedy, be careful that you don't remove also their right to cancel the contract. Within the inspection period, your client still has the opportunity to cancel the contract if something comes up on the inspection report that they cannot live with. That is their only time and their only out, other than not being able to qualify for financing. If they don't qualify for financing, that is also a viable way to get out and still keep their earnest money, if there was earnest money on the table. If there was no earnest money on the table, then there is a possibility that sellers could sue your buyers. Sellers could sue you. Anyone can sue anyone for any reason. But within the inspection period, your buyer can still cancel the contract, even if they waive the right to ask for remedy. but when you put the verbiage in the additional terms and contracts at the top, you want to use that example that I pulled in our templates, which is that they're removing their right to request for remedy, but they're not removing 6.4B, which is their right to terminate the contract if they don't like what they found in the inspections. Does that make sense? It's confusing. Even I have a hard time, like,
Chris. Yeah, so I did, like, I put that what you said, the 6.4, like, I put that in the contract, but I was just curious, like, they went through the inspection period and everything, but they didn't want to terminate, you know?
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
If you don't put that in, that they're not waiving their right to 6.4B, that they still have the right to 6.4B, if you don't put that in, then it's kind of gray, and it could be left up to interpretation. And if this had to be held up in a court of law and your verbiage was not clear enough and it has to be held up, or it has to be left to interpretation by a judge or an attorney, that wouldn't be good. I don't know which way they'd swing. Just depends. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yep, that makes total sense. I was just curious.
Yeah. You could put in they waive the right to 6.4B as well. But I don't know why you would ever do that unless you knew that there was nothing wrong with the house. Does all of that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions around that? Are you guys still there? I see somebody coming on. There you are!
Oh. Who are you talking to?
Well, I don't see you, but I can see Jennifer. Jennifer, you're muted.
I think I just unmuted myself. Yeah, I'm still here. No questions. A lot of great information. Thank you. I got it. I mean, I'm going to have to go through that, several times. There's another Dotloop information thing on the YouTube page too, I do believe. So it kind of helps run through. So that, interesting.
The one that I previously recorded is not as concise or specific to writing an offer. This is how you write an offer.
Okay.